I will say that not all money is good money. I think this is an example of that. It sounds intriguing in theory, $5 million to just play 10 games, but we have to look at Caitlin Clark. Compare the women's game to the men's game. They are older. The big three is older guys, but are we sure that if Caitlin Clark goes to the big three that she's just going to dominate? Are we sure about that? What is good, YouTube? This is your boy Aaron.
It's Brian.
And this is the Courtside View podcast. And today we are back and we are we were reviewing this past week's news. Now, let's go. So, a few days ago, TMZ reported that Caitlin Clark was offered $5 million from the Big Three. Ice Cube, he wanted to make a big splash, and he offered $5 million to Caitlin Clark. Now, Caitlin Clark hasn't accepted the offer. Who knows if she's going to accept the offer, but I think this is a good business move for the Big Three, for Ice Cube. I like the move. I think bringing Caitlin Clark in, you're going to get viewership.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to get a lot of people talking. So, yeah, I like the move.
Yeah, I don't see a problem. I think it's a good idea. What would have been also good is if they sent it out to, like, multiple women, big-name women hoopers coming out of college as well. Like, maybe you could give an offer to, like, an Angel Reese, too, or who else is coming out this year? I know some other people coming out. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, like, stuff like that. Like, or maybe next year you send one to Paige when she declares or whatever, you know? Mm-hmm. Maybe even you. Well, I don't think. Yeah, you can't. You could even send some to, like, a big WNBA player. Like Asia Wilson or something. I don't know. I mean, it's not like. I don't think it's any type of overlay. I mean, obviously the Big Three starts after the WNBA season is over, so it wouldn't be any scheduling conflicts, I don't think. And shoot, if I'm Caitlin Clark, I'm accepting that. Are you kidding me? That's way more I'm getting paid in the league. Just to play, I think it's like only 10 games.
10 games.
$5 million for 10, man. What? That's an easy bag against these old dudes. Come on, son. I'm what? I am shooting. I'm gonna just sit at the 4.3 zone. I'm gonna just be shooting from there all game. I don't need to do too much.
Okay, so there's two conversations, right? Number one, Lexi Brown response.
Oh Lord.
Her take on this whole thing about Ice Cube offering Caitlin Clark $5 million, but not offering any of the WNBA players a deal. And then we have that. Should Caitlin Clark accept the offer? Number one, I want to respond to Lexi Brown. I understand where she's coming from, but it's a business at the end of the day. And Caitlin Clark is the biggest name in college basketball.
Yeah.
College basketball. Not women's. No, men's as well. She's the biggest name in college basketball. She is the biggest name in college basketball since Zion. There's no man or women that has been bigger than Caitlin Clark since Zion. That's how big she is. So, him offering her that money makes a lot of sense. One, because her name, her value is ginormous. He understands that the women's game is not getting paid a whole lot of money. So, there's an incentive for her to at least think about it. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. If he tried to offer that to the men's, we already know they make too much money, yada, yada, yada. They're not going to do that. I will say that not all money is good money.
Mm.
I think this is an example of that. It sounds intriguing in theory, $5 million to just play 10 games, but we have to look at Caitlin Clark. Compare the women's game to the men's game. They are older. The big three is older guys, but are we sure that if Caitlin Clark goes to the big three that she's just going to dominate? Are we sure about that? Because these are grown men, former NBA players. I get it, they're older, but they're still grown men that can still play in a high level. Maybe not NBA, but they can still play. It's physical. It's not enough. It's not a lot of space. It's more so half court setting.
Yeah.
So it's not a lot of space as much as there would be if it was full court setting. I don't know if it's a good idea for her to accept this deal, because what if she accepts it, she plays these 10 games, and she doesn't dominate? She doesn't look as good as what we thought she would look. What if that happens? What perception, what would be the perception on women's basketball if that would have happened? She doesn't cook these old guys. She doesn't average 30 or something. What would be the perception? It would, I fear that it would look bad. People would, because they're doing it already. They're comparing her to, oh, can she play in the NBA and all this other stuff. They're doing it all right now. And I fear that if she goes to the big three and she doesn't dominate, it'll be a bad look for women's basketball.
I could see that point of view, but at the same time, how many people are seriously watching the Big Three and taking that style of basketball like seriously?
I'm telling you, man. There's a
Obviously,
lot of
there's going to be some. If that did happen, it would definitely be some people trying to push that agenda. But how was that any different than her going to the WNBA and not dominating?
because because you're playing against your peers, and people will like, okay, I mean, that's expect. I'm saying women's basketball in general will look bad if she goes to the big three and doesn't play well, because then it will reinforce this narrative that, oh, women can't play against men. The women's sport, we shouldn't take women's basketball that seriously, when in reality, there's a reason why there's women playing women and men playing men, because just genetically.
Yeah.
And we don't even need to go into detail about that. Everybody knows. But that's the problem, is that if she goes to the big three and doesn't dominate, there's going to be a lot of these men out here. Men, not women, men that are sexist, misogynistic towards women, that are going to have this narrative, this agenda about women's sports, women's basketball. And it's going to put women's basketball, it's going to be a bad look for them, because she's the biggest name in women's basketball. And she's going to go to the WNBA, and let's say she plays well in the WNBA, but she didn't play well in the Big Three. That's going to be a bad look.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's going to be a very bad look. So I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think she should do it.
Me personally, I don't even think she needs the money.
She doesn't. She doesn't.
'Cause she got so many endorsements that $5 million is probably gonna be nothing.
Exactly.
Well, not nothing. $5 million is never nothing.
That is a lot.
But
that is a lot. For
it's
10
not
games
going to
too.
be as dire as like a different WNBA player, because she got endorsements and all type of stuff, and she already getting money from NIL and all that. So that Nike deal and some more stuff. So she'll be fine financially. She won't mind playing for that $70K in WNBA, so however much it is.
She gonna get more than $70K. I bet you that. She probably, man, she gonna get.
Well, she is a rookie. So
I know, but she gonna probably be the number 1 pick. She probably get like maybe $100K at least maybe $100K.
I gotta see how they do the salaries.
Yeah, me too. But I think she gonna get a little bit more than $70K. But yeah, man, there's just like the women's basketball has been disrespected in so many years. Like,
oh yeah,
a lot of guys say, "Oh, you
but
know,
the viewership is at an all-time high."
Yeah,
so somebody's
for college,
watching.
For college.
No, WNBA.
Oh,
too.
Are you
really? Last season, I think they had
in the finals.
They had the most viewed season in the WNBA last year.
That's good. That's good. It's just like a lot of men. They think that they can go up against these women basketball players that have been training their entire lives, when in reality that's not the case. And they're like, "Oh, why should I watch this game?" Like, it's a bad look, man. It's a bad look. It's too much of a risk. The money sounds great, but it's too much of a risk.
True. I guess it is about setting like a precedent, I suppose.
Yeah, because she is. If you look at the biggest names in women's basketball, it's her, it's Sabrina, it's Angel Reese, it's Aja Wilson, Kelsey Plum. But the top 3 is probably Caitlin Clark, it's Angel Reese, it's Sabrina. Think about that. 2 college basketball players are in the top 3. You could argue are the top 3.
Yeah.
And Angel Reese, she's won championships. Man, she even won the NCAA championship with South Carolina that one year. I think they beat UConn. But she's not better. She's not bigger in popularity than Caitlin Clark.
No.
And she's been in commercials. So, yeah. I just think she should not accept the offer. All right, let's